You know, sometimes you just have to lose concept of time. You gotta just forget about it. Now, before we go going off the deep end here, let's not be silly with this. Of course, you want to be conscientious of when you need to pick your child up from the daycare or when it's time to get off work. But I'm talking about this clock watching. Clock watching to a point that it gets stressful. It can seemingly happen in times that you think there's nothing wrong with it, that is positive, but it can lead to stress. Let me give you an example. Think about a goal, something that you were pursuing, something that you were putting some time into, right? And you're sitting up here going, all right, it's been a week. It's been 2 weeks of me doing this. Where's the fruits of my labor? It's been 3 months of me doing this. Where's the fruits of my labor? It's been a year, 2 years. Where's the fruits of my labor? I'm really supposed to be further up along in this. Hey, just worry about what you're doing at hand. And scratch that. See, that's the reason why we have to really check our self-talk and just the lingo that we use day to day. You don't want to worry. Just be focused. There we go. Focused on what's at hand right now. Time is of no essence to you. That's one thing if you're doing something, I'm not going to even go down that path. I'm going to go down that path. I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm going to go down that path. Let's take this concept of depending on what type of business you may start up. Some people say, hey, expect not to make a profit in your first 5 years and so forth and so on, and be prepared for whatever it takes. And sometimes people, they still have to keep up with their main hustle while they're doing whatever else it is that they're doing. Hey man, it's coming up on that 5 years, like this is the magic markup for something to happen. No, sometimes it don't happen after that 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. It's up to you on how far you're willing to see whatever it is that you're doing to go forth with it. Seeing it to completion. Whatever it is would complete to you. That's one idea that I'm thinking about clock watching. The reason why I say that is because you can start to almost beat up on yourself in a way. You can start letting some of that doubt creep up off in there, which does nobody no good. It doesn't do you any good to have doubt creeping up off in there. Now, that's one thing if perhaps whatever it is that you're doing is no longer feasible for you because you got a lot of stuff going on. And what I mean by you have a lot of stuff going on, maybe you're at the max limit of how much you can afford to put into that, right? Maybe you might need to pivot. Okay, I'm just saying you might have to readjust or rethink your goals or whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about if you're doing it and you're managing it, unless you're just flat out tired of doing it, and you don't want to do it anymore. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm talking about sitting up here doing it, and you're sitting up here waiting for like this big payoff. Quit thinking about this big payoff and just know that you planted the seed. And when you plant the seed, it'll grow. You're gonna get the fruits of your labor. Quit trying to watch the pot boil on the stove. You know how long it takes water to boil? When you're sitting there watching, it seems like it takes forever. Just like when you're at work, and you're sitting up here, you just clocked in, you're already looking at the clock every 10, 15 minutes to see how much time is spent. You know it's not quitting time. You know it's not quitting time. And it just feeds into that doubt, that self-talk. Let's hang on to clock watching, which you getting in the work. You're looking at the clock every 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Man, all it's doing is feeding into how much I don't want to be here. Man, I can't wait to get off. And do what? Do what? Let's think about the now. You never want to underestimate how important the present tense is. Because everything that you're doing now you're reaping the benefits for the future. It's going to come up later. The now is going to come up later. Everything you're doing now, it matters. So think about it. Everything that you're complaining about, you're doubting, just how sweet do you think that fruit is going to be? Look at when you're feeding something doubt. When I'm thinking about doubt and negativity, we're not talking about realistic perspective. I'm just talking about just that grueling thought and just negativity and just, like I said, complaining. I liken it to being sour. You actually heard me refer to this when I've talked about relationships going bitter and souring in the past because of the way people's behavior, the way that they come. Think about it this way. All that bitterness and that sourness that you're putting into the now, what type of fruit do you think that you're going to have? It's going to be sweet? It'd be just like some sort of something that you were trying to grow. If you wasn't giving it the right nutrients and it was like really deprived of the appropriate things that was required of the soil, it might turn out sour. It might taste terrible. So that's why everything that you're putting in that dirt now, this is how you get the sweet fruit off that tree. Back on what I'm talking about with the clock watching and time, and it really not really amounting to a hill of beans when you're thinking about whatever it is that you're doing. As long as you're able to continue doing what you're doing, time is of no consequence to you. If you already accepted it in your mind, the finish line, the goal, or whatever it is that you want to do, keep doing what you're doing. More often than not, nothing happens overnight. Excuse me. Think about even people that have gotten it on at particular jobs and they started at the bottom and maybe they ended off in some higher paid position. Think about just how much more terrible it would be to just be there how many years till I qualify to take this next step up? How much more schooling that I got to do so I can meet the qualifications of this? To get this bachelor's. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I can't believe to get this master's for this position is requiring this master's. I got to do 4, then I got to do plus the 2, and then I got to do what? Come on. Are you really reinforcing yourself with the appropriate attitude for you to push on? Come on. Think about it. Anytime that you're clock watching and you're sitting up here watching the time on anything, think about your real thought process behind you checking your time. I thought about this when I was going to the gym. I set a timer for how long I want to do whatever it is that I'm wanting to do. And there'd be times that I'm checking that time. I don't know how much time has passed. Then I had to ask myself, why are you checking the time? Once the timer goes off, you know it's quitting time. And it's like, it's not like I get filled up when I put it this way. The benefits don't outweigh the negatives. Yes, there have been times where maybe I've checked the time and I'm like, I think that I'm behind in whatever it is that I'm doing. I need to go ahead and pick it up. But as I'm talking about that with you, I got to really ask myself, how good is that? How sloppy am I getting on whatever it is, the reps that I'm doing, or just speeding up through there, or whatever the case may be. So, but I guess you could look at it in that sense. Okay, picking up the pace. Maybe I'm taking too much of a break in between sets or whatever it is that I'm doing. But for the most part, that's not really where my mind is. At least not for me. I'm sitting here going, okay, how much time do I have left before I get out of here? Okay, what happens when I see that I'm not even not even halfway through the allotted time that I set for myself to be in there? Now I'm open. This is not all the time. It might be just on sometimes. It's like, man, that self-talk. It led me to the clock watching. And it made me think about it, how it applies to a lot of different things. Don't worry about that clock. It's a no consequence to you. If you've already, I said it earlier in this video, if you already assumed whatever it is, claimed whatever it is that's supposed to be yours. Because remember, life reflects you. Life reflects what you have on the inside. If you've already claimed that, hey, I'm going to be a success at whatever it is that I'm doing, just focus on your journey. Think about it. If you set out to open up a business, if you were in business for 6 or 7 years, okay, say for instance, I'm just giving an example, that maybe you did think, I hope to be rich or really have a big come up off of this. Maybe if it's not quite the come up that you expected, hey, have you not been in business for 6 or 7 years? It's hard for people to keep consistency up with anything for any length of time. You can't pat yourself on the back for how long you've done whatever you're doing. So what's the purpose of questioning time on that? Or questioning time on how much longer before I get whatever it is that I'm seeking? Is that really filling you up? I know it doesn't fill me up. It makes it seem like the goal line is a lot further away. Think about it now. Don't be overly concerned, but just be focused on what you need to do today. End the video. Stay encouraged. Avoid being discouraged. I'm Ayin. Y'all have a good one.